Welcome to Week and Geek, your weekly comics preview for March 7th. I am the Chris Brown.
And I am JABBO.
We have Dave Jablinski, who will henceforth be referred to as JABBO, joining us tonight as Mike Ortiz is out on assignment. Figures he's out on assignment on what is our one-year anniversary show.
That's like him, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's episode 53. One year ago this week, we were doing our first episode and finding our way, and it was a half hour long, and everything was quite a bit different, and we've come a long way, and Mike isn't even here.
Figures.
So JABBO steps up, and he's gonna take the reins
in his
today.
stead.
So, and we're hoping we're gonna have some fun stuff going on this year. We're gonna add a third man, maybe once or twice a month, and
A third whale, if you will.
A third whale, sure. So you can.
Third whale.
Is that we said third whale?
That's what you said.
That's what I thought you said. Third whale, sure.
And this week's guest, Shamu.
I think you just meant like a big power player.
Right.
So we're gonna have like a third guest on to kind of add a little variety from time to time. But this week we couldn't have a third because JABBO is more than we can handle already.
Right. There's not enough room in the room for both of our egos. So,
so here we go. Here I'm gonna start it off with Fatale by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips from Image Comics. This has been a really, really interesting book. I like it. It's got a very noirish kind of tale, but there's something going on in the backdrop that's going to be a little mystical, little metaphysical, perhaps. We're starting to get the idea that our femme fatale Josephine she has lived many times, and in this issue, this particular issue, she makes a statement to that effect. There are several storylines going on at the same time, mixing through time, that are kind of going to catch up. There's the story of our lead character, Nicholas's godfather, who was a reporter. There's another dirty cop from the past, and there was some cops on the take, and something else going on. It looks like a weird, creepy guy with some sharp teeth, almost like in the vein of what was going on in Severed.
Okay.
But this guy's doing something else and not necessarily eating children. At least not children specifically.
Right. He's a good writer, Brubaker.
Brubaker's fantastic. I really like his stuff. I think he does a great job with capturing a feeling, and he's very much got that spy movies and jazz thing down pat.
For sure.
Then we've got Sweet Tooth by Jeff Lemire, issue number 31. I'm still a little bit behind on this book, but this is just some fantastic storytelling. Jeff Lemire really is a great storyteller. I like these characters. I really, really like this artwork. It looks like Sweet Tooth is growing up a bit. We're, making our way through this world, and what is going to be their mission is they're trying to find out what exactly happened to Sweet Tooth, and maybe he wasn't born, and all of that, that they were building up to, and find the destination to find the secrets of him. It's almost like a Children of Men kind of thing.
Okay.
But really good. Well, Children of Men was amazing. This is also pretty good.
I'm not familiar with Sweet Tooth, but it looks pretty cool from the...
It's a good book. If you have not read any of it, I suggest just starting with the trades and catch up. It's a cool story.
Right.
It's a Vertigo book, creator owned. Then we've got The Defenders by Matt Fraction and who else we got here? Matt Fraction, Michael Lark's the penciler. I like this book. This art looks great. Michael Lark's stuff is fantastic. I like this book. This is done in what they call the Marvel style, so the art is done first. You have an idea of a story, hand it over to the writer. Then the writer kind of fills in the blanks, fills in the bubbles and such. I think it's fun. I've heard some people who don't like it because they just think it's not working somehow. I don't know, it makes me feel like a little kid. Totally feels like those comics I was reading in the late 70s and early 80s.
I've always liked the Defenders in their various incarnations.
Yeah, this one's good, and I think Matt Fraction's a decent writer most of the time. He's had a few things where I felt he stumbled, but I think he's doing a great job on this. Then we have Fear Itself, The Fearless, also written by Matt Fraction and a host of others. Cullen Bunn, Matt Fraction, and Chris Yost. Cullen Bunn actually did the script. This story is really, really cool. It's a backstory on Valkyrie, and clearly Odin was having her do something else. She is trying to get all these hammers, and some things are going on. It looks like Damien Hellstrom turned on them. He's working with Crossbones and Sin, and some fun stuff. I like it. Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty cool, and it looks like I saw the Destroyer armor in there.
Nice.
That'll get the Thor fans worked up.
Right.
Then we got some of our DC New 52. This week marks the first week they're using the new banner.
Yeah,
They
I
had that
noticed that.
DC Nation on Cartoon Network this past weekend on Saturday morning, and now they're using the whole new banner. I didn't think I liked the logo by itself when I first saw it. I don't mind the whole banner thing they got going on up there. I think it looks pretty cool.
Right.
So we got Animal Man number 7, written by Jeff Lemire, who does Sweet Tooth. Animal Man's been a great book. The previous issue sort of took a quick detour to tell a story of Animal Man's past and a movie he'd been working on, when Buddy was the stuntman actor thing. But it's going to come back and come full circle and tie in. This book has been really, really cool, and they're on their way. Right before that previous issue, in issue 5, we got to find Al Collin. He's the only thing that can help us.
Right.
And it looks like they're meeting up with Al Collin here, so you might want to read Swamp Thing first. It looks like they're meeting up. Swamp Thing 7 also comes out this week, and there's some stuff going on. Some big things happen. They've been building up. Al Collin was resistant. The trees, the green basically told him it was too late. There was nothing he could do, and maybe it wasn't too late. It's we're finally kicking this thing in high gear. It's the 7th issue. I guess it's kind of starting the second story arc,
right.
Sort of pushing us further along. And it does look like you were going to want to read Swamp Thing before Animal Man. So had I realized that, I would have covered them in different order.
Right.
Then we have Winter Soldier, again, by Ed Brubaker. Obviously, he's a favorite of ours here on the show. He's done some great stuff. Captain America's been fantastic. I really liked him with when he was writing Bucky, the Bucky cap. I thought it was awesome. And now he's kind of bringing, Bucky's got his own story, and he's bringing that style, that espionage feel to this book, which is what I think it needs to be with Bucky.
Sure.
And the artwork, is Butch Guice on pencils. We have Stefano Guadiano with Brian Thies and Butch Guice as inkers. Great. Look at that. Freaking looks fantastic.
That's fantastic.
This is a cool book. I really, really like this, and I was jonesing for a Winter Soldier book. I'm glad they gave it to me.
Right. I'm glad that they, didn't kill Bucky.
I was so upset when they seemingly did that, and I thought it was lazy and ham-fisted, and I really didn't care for it. And then when they pull that, oh no, we gave him the Infinity Formula, we brought him back, I was like, oh man, sometimes I love when comic books just do the comic book thing. God bless your guys' sweet souls.
Right.
Then we've got, from the pages of Fables, Fairest number 1 by Bill Willingham, Phil Jimenez, and Andy Lanning. This is supposed to explore the secret histories of the characters that are in Fables. And this is a story of Alibaba, and he awakens, I'm not entirely sure who that is, to tell you the honest truth. I don't read Fables. This looked like something that I could maybe jump onto. It was in issue number 1, and the artwork looked just fantastic. I think Phil Jimenez does an amazing job here, and he's a great artist anyway.
Right.
But yeah, it was something that I looked at that and said, yeah, I'm going to need to read that. And it's all right. I might be missing something because I haven't read Fables yet. Everyone tells me I need to. Yes, I'm going to start right away. I'm going to get on that.
You do
I promise.
that. Then you can tell me how it is.
Everyone says it's good, so yeah, I'm gonna get on that, and then I'll bust your chops about it.
All right.
So that is the majority of my stack. What are you looking at over there, JABBO?
All right, we've got Uncanny X-Men here, which is written by Kieran Gillen, and
we can tell you've never watched the show before, JABBO. You don't really have to show the book.
Right.
Because the one from Mike Ortiz has built us a graphic. If you need to, you can point down there, because that's where it'll be.
It's been a long time since I've watched it. I don't think you had the graphics at that point.
I don't watch the show either, so.
Well, fair enough. And this storyline, they've got the separated teams right now. You've got, the Scott Summers Cyclops team and the Wolverine team, and they're still doing that. And this story talks about a place called Tabula Rasa, which was this mystical land that appeared in Montana. And there's 2 survivors of this land, and the X-Men are teaming up with one of them to fight the other, who's trying to save his race. And the one is evil, and they're fighting each other. And It's pretty far out, but not bad.
Fighting for the fate of Montana.
That's right. And Jack Morris's ranch. I believe that's where he is. We've got Batman Detective Comics here, which is written by Tony Daniel. And this has been good. It's been kind of a dark, gritty story. And you've got Snakeskin is in here. He's like a shape-changing kind of guy. And there's got another guy in there who is what's his name? I knew I was going to do this. Anyhow, he's Death Mask, I think, and he can take he takes people's faces, and after he kills them, of course, and makes masks out of them, and there's like mutilation and stuff going on.
It's Dollmaker.
Dollmaker, that's it. But
I'm not even reading the book, and I'm on top of this.
He makes death masks.
There you go.
But it's pretty dark and twisted stuff, and it's a good read.
Cool.
Then we have Age of Apocalypse, which I'm
looking forward to that.
It's not bad. This is taken from the X-Force story, and they did a 0 issue, or was it a .1? And it's a story that occurs in the Age of Apocalypse universe, and Wolverine is now Weapon Alpha in this world, and you've got a reporter that kind of gets sucked into this world through a portal, and he's just kind of viewing what's going on over there, and Wolverine's kind of taken over for Apocalypse, and what's left of the mutants are fighting for their survival, and the humans are fighting them, and it's kind of an apocalyptic world. And we've got the .1 issue here too. Amazing Spider-Man. This has been fun since Dan Slott took over, and you've got there's a team up going on right now where Spider-Man and the Human Torch are back together in here, and
that's always a fun team.
Oh yeah, and it's great. They're catching up on time because of course Human Torch was gone for over a year, presumed dead, and they go up into space to try and save John Jameson, J. Jonah Jameson's son, and there's zombies and lots of fun with this. And there's a Morbius appearance, too, in the recent books where it turns out he was a secret guy working at the lab where Peter Parker's at.
They've got a Morbius story coming up, I believe.
Right.
Which I'm excited about. I'm a huge fan of the Michael Morbius character.
Oh, me too. And it's pretty cool because they're, obviously the people at the lab where Peter Parker works are not thrilled when they find out it's, a criminal working there. Avengers Academy. Jocasta, the robot, I guess, that Hank Pym built before with his ex-wife Janet's memories in it, was presumed dead, and she had faked her death because she wanted to what's the word I'm looking for? Try and show that the Academy is not what it's supposed to be, and you've got some of the students splitting off right now, and that's what's going on in here.
Okay.
And this one is written by I don't know. Anyhow, that's pretty much what's going on in the Avengers Academy right now.
Right.
Green Arrow, which is this is the first issue by Annie Nocenti, who did a run on Daredevil back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And
she was, a lot of people people overlook her from time to time, but when you were reading those books at the time and you remember back on, well, maybe they weren't doing a lot of great things with Daredevil. No. Ann Nocenti did that great run in the 90s. She's the one who created Typhoid Mary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she really did some fun stuff. When no one else was paying attention to that character, she was still writing great stories.
Right.
So I'm really eager to see what she does with Green Arrow, because I haven't seen her do much lately in a while. So let's see what she can do with Green Arrow. I think it'll be kind of cool.
It's been pretty fun so far. They've taken bits of Batman and bits of Iron Man, because he's got like a Pepper Potts character now, and he's got like his own Oracle, and he's kind of like the billionaire playboy screw up, so it's kind of like the drunk Tony Stark from the movies, except he's not drunk, but it's
okay.
Just kind of wondering, why is he running this company? It's just got his name on it, but he's never around and that kind of thing. And so, he's like the billionaire playboy, and they're playing that up. So
I think she's going to do a great job with it.
Yeah, I think so, too. Then we have Venom, the Circle of Four story. This is kind of interesting.
Is this the end of that now?
I believe this is the last issue.
It ran through a series of points.
Right. Went from issue 13 and then 13.1 through 13.4. And then this is issue 14, which is the final issue, I believe. And written by Rick Remender. And anyhow, you have Venom, the Red Hulk, X-23, and Ghost Rider all together. It's Alejandra Ghost Rider. It's female Ghost Rider.
Okay.
And they get tricked by Blackheart, who is the Prince of Hell. And they end up opening some kind of dimension where they're trying to spread hell on Earth here. And the Spirit of Vengeance ends up...
Did they open that in O'Hare Airport?
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure that's hell on earth. It's all just pouring in through O'Hare. That's why you can't catch a flight on time.
I thought it was where the old advertising palace used to be.
Well, that could be another portal to hell. That's fine.
And you've got, the Spirit of Vengeance goes looking for Johnny Blaze, but ends up back with the Salamandra. And you also have the Damien Hellstrom is in there. And
I like that character.
Yeah, and he's got an interesting role in this, too.
Okay.
More deception and trickery going on.
That that book in the 90s, you remember that had that parchment paper kind of cover with the red and whatnot? Friend of the show, Raph Nieves wrote like the first 14 or 15 issues of that.
Oh, okay.
Who were promoting his Bob Howard Plumber the Unknown here.
Right. Local 666. Nice. And then we have X-Men, just the regular X-Men book. And this is written by Victor Gischler.
He's doing a great job on that title, too.
And currently in this story, you have Jubilee as a vampire, and the X-Men have gone looking for her. And she's living with a group of people right now who are kind of getting people to accept that they're vampires and not have to feed on humans. And, they're trying to, so she's got a choice and that kind of thing. So that's what's going on with this book. And that's it for my books for this week.
All right. Which I guess will bring me to the top of my stack here. My top pick for the week should be no surprise to anyone. I'm going with the Manhattan Project's #1 from Image Comics by Jonathan Hickman. We love Jonathan Hickman here on the show. He writes some great stuff. He writes some very heady, intelligent stuff. And, why should our book titled The Manhattan Projects be any different? It is about, imagine that, the Manhattan Project.
Wow.
Except there's a little bit more to it. Imagine what he's doing at Marvel with S.H.I.E.L.D. having been this bigger project, and Da Vinci and all these people were involved. Where here, he's telling this story of Robert Oppenheimer and his twin brother Joseph. Mm-hmm. And this twisted, weird thing. Imagine if you've got essentially the building of the atomic bomb with the Manhattan Project, Robert Oppenheimer, but mix in a little Eureka.
Okay.
It's the television show Eureka.
Right.
It's not really the government wants their atomic bomb. Oh, and we're going to give them that. That's not not the Manhattan Project, but that's not what the Manhattan Projects is about. They're trying to, if you can imagine it, if you can envision it, we can find a way to help you build it.
Not to be confused with the Manhattan Transfer.
No, totally different. But you can listen to the Manhattan Transfer while you're reading the Manhattan Projects. I'm sure it would be lovely. Really, really cool stuff. I don't want to spoil your fun, but there's something kind of crazy in here. And kind of like, okay, I'm curious to see where that's going. But I can see seeds of it planted from his S.H.I.E.L.D. book over at Marvel, and kind of mixed in with his wild sensibilities that he's done with some other great books like Transhuman and the Nightly News and things like that. He's not playing with Marvel's characters, so he still has to be somewhat safe over there, even if it's wacky and crazy and really cool and fun.
Right.
He doesn't have to be safe over here. And this book is not safe. This book is pretty crazy and cool. I love the artwork. The artwork is by Nick Patera, who I believe also did Red Wing.
Oh, okay.
By Hickman. Just, oh man, cool stuff. And Albert Einstein seems to be held prisoner in some sort of room. Like, just cool, really, really cool stuff. So excited. I'm very excited about the Manhattan Projects, and I really enjoyed that one.
It's funny, you mentioned Einstein. There's a reference to a zombie Einstein in the Amazing Spider-Man stories that have just passed by.
Bring it all full circle.
Yeah. And my #1 for this week is Superman in Action Comics, The City in a Bottle story. This is by Grant Morrison with art by Rags Morales. And it's been pretty cool. They're retelling his origin. It's set 5 years in the past, in regular, with the New 52, the Superman book is in the current continuity.
Right.
And this one is, 5 years before it. So we're kind of learning about Superman, and, he's, not yet flying and that sort of thing. And they have a story in here where the collector of worlds comes in, and they kind of miniaturize Earth, and they have Krypton there, and they're forcing Superman to make a choice between the two of them. And it's a pretty good story. When it started, I was kind of wondering where they were going to go with it, but I like it.
Grant Morrison's telling some cool Silver Age kind of stuff in that book. I think they're updating it. They're putting the New 52 twist on things, but I think he's also trying to stay true to a Silver Age kind of feel, and some of the stories and feelings that have gone before.
Right. Yeah, I'd agree with that. And the backup story in here is good too, where you have because Superman had gone up into space to see what was
Okay.
going on, because the city of New Troy, which is part of Metropolis, has disappeared, because of the Collector of Worlds thing. And in the meantime, you've got Steel on the ground, fighting the battle that way, and that's been
cool.
a good story too.
Very cool.
That part's not written by Morrison. It is who wrote that? Shally Fish with
Okay.
Brad Walker as the artist,
Interesting.
and good artwork on that too.
I'm sure they're probably building to give Steel something more to do.
Oh, probably.
But and then before we wrap this up, there's a couple other things that I'd like to mention. I probably would have added them to the list if we had Mike Ortiz around, but him being out of town, we couldn't add some extra graphics.
Curse him.
So game time switch ups here. I'd like to mention an Image #1 book called Hell Yeah, The Last Generation of Heroes.
So yeah.
It kind of cool. It was kind of an interesting little vibe. There's kind of, it almost reminds me a little bit of Rising Stars.
Oh, okay.
Mixed with what do I want to mix it with? It's kind of a hard take. There is something else in there, but I can't put my finger on it. But it may be like a little kick-ass.
Oh, okay.
But not really. But I liked it. I thought this was okay. This is one of those Image #1s. So look for those. Everyone's always going crazy for those Image #1s. Then I'd also like to mention Breathe Again Entertainment, issue #2. This is a pop culture comic book magazine by Terrell Culbert, but he's got lots of other cool stuff in here. He's essentially just sort of the publisher and editor. He's got a comic story in here by kind of a zombie tale by Chris Sanchez. Got some photo shoots with some cosplay girls, kind of some fun stuff. And then he's also got an interview in here with our friend Dan Doherty, who
nice.
works on Bob Howard Plumber, The Unknown. There's an interview in here. There's a couple of Beardo strips.
Oh, cool.
Big fan of Beardo. I'm going to be appearing on the cover of Beardo Volume 3.
Nice.
So gotta
Ding.
gotta plug that one a little bit. Then we got a book here that Blue by Pat Grant. Not really familiar with Pat Grant, but the artwork looked really, really cool. I don't really know how quite to describe it. It just looks fun. The description sounded pretty cool. It almost looks a little bit like James Kachalka's stuff. A little different.
Little Mark Hansen, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit. So that one I just wanted to give a little shout out. I thought that one looked pretty cool. So look for that one. The blue hardcover by, I believe, Top Shelf put that out, and they do great stuff. So with that, I would like to thank JABBO for sitting in for our 1-year anniversary show. And thanks to all you guys for watching. Really, really appreciate it. And that is your Week in Geek.
Thanks for having me.